The Tortoise and the Bird, a heartwarming story of friendship and sharing. Once, in a lush green forest, a tortoise rested comfortably under the wide shade of an ancient oak tree. He often spent his days lying there, watching the world go by. Above him, perched on a branch of the same tree, a little bird chirped cheerfully as it worked hard building its nest out of broken twigs, leaves, and soft feathers. The tortoise tilted his head and peered up at the bird. "What a shabby little house you have up there," he said, his voice dripping with mockery. "You've toiled so much, flitting back and forth to gather those useless sticks, and still, it looks like it could fall apart with a gust of wind." The bird paused for a moment, her tiny wings fluttering as she looked down at the tortoise. "It may not be much," she replied kindly, "but it is enough for me and my family." The tortoise chuckled and puffed out his chest proudly. "Family? Ha! I don't need to work so hard for a home. My shell is strong, sturdy, and perfect. I carry it wherever I go, and I don't need to fuss over sticks and feathers." "That may be so," said the bird softly, "but your shell is only for you, isn't it?" The tortoise scoffed. "Why would I need anyone else in here? I am self-sufficient after all." The bird tilted her head, an idea forming in her mind. "Perhaps, but my nest, no matter how small or imperfect, has room for my little ones and my friends. It is filled with warmth, love, and the sound of chirping songs." The tortoise frowned but didn't reply. He was too proud to admit there was wisdom in the bird's words. "Nonsense," he mumbled to himself. "What good is a nest if it's made of flimsy twigs?" Days passed, and soon the seasons began to change. A great storm swept across the forest, bringing fierce winds and heavy rain. The mighty oak swayed, its branches creaking and groaning under the weight of the storm. The little bird huddled tightly inside her nest, shielding her chicks under her wings. She had worked hard to weave the twigs together tightly, and the nest held firm against the wind. Below, the tortoise stayed tucked inside his shell. Rain poured down relentlessly, and the wind howled through the forest. Though he was protected from the storm, the cold and loneliness began to creep into his heart. As the storm passed and the sun began to shine once more, the tortoise peeked out from his shell. He looked up and saw the bird happily singing while feeding her chicks. Other birds joined in, perching on the tree to chirp songs of joy. The tree seemed alive with warmth, laughter, and friendship. The tortoise sighed as he gazed at the happy scene. "Why do I feel so empty inside?" he wondered aloud. The bird, hearing him, fluttered down and landed gently near him. "You see, dear tortoise," she said kindly, "your shell may protect you, but it also keeps everyone else out. My little nest may not be as sturdy or as grand as your shell, but it is filled with love, laughter, and family." The tortoise looked up, his expression softening. For the first time, he realized how lonely his life had been. His sturdy shell, while strong, had kept him apart from the joy and companionship he saw in the bird's nest. From that day on, the tortoise spent more time with the bird and her friends, listening to their stories and sharing in their songs. Though he still carried his shell, he learned that life was much richer when shared with others. And so, the little bird and the tortoise became the most unlikely of friends. Under the great oak tree, the tortoise finally understood the true meaning of home, not just a place to shelter, but a space filled with warmth, love, and the presence of others.